Hello everyone, I'm BeakerTeck, also known as Keegan, and welcome back to City Skylines, where what you can see in front of you is what I consider a little bit boring. This main avenue of this sort of hilltop. Wait, is this hilltop? Is this hilltop? This is hilltop. This is gonna be. At the moment, it's Chestnut Square. It's not gonna stay there. I do really need to get around to renaming my districts. But this main avenue, anyway, is a little bit boring, if I do say so myself. So, I've been thinking, what can I do with it? Obviously, in the last episode, we gave ourselves a courtyard over here, which looks lovely. Especially with, people walking through the fountain. Come on, really? At least pretend it's there. Walking around, anyway. And, I don't know, from this side, having it completely empty like this actually kind of works. It needs to be dirtied up a little bit, maybe some rubbish bins around there and some of those splotches on the ground. But all in all, it makes sense. Like, you come around the back to this massive courtyard, but this doesn't have to be filled in. So I'm leaving it for now. Maybe something will pop into my head as to what I want to do, but for now, it's kind of just going to stay there. But this front section needs some work, and I thought it could do with a pathway. And then maybe we can put some little shops along there, like the prop shops. I'm not sure if I can find them, but I've got some little shop carts around the place, fruit stalls, gift shops, that kind of stuff, which can be placed in. Right? So maybe they're under, I think they're under general props or something like that. But anyway, we've got some of these, and so I thought, you know what? Let's go with that. So what I'm going to do first is bring this entire front area, I can bring this up in size just a little bit, up to the height of this road. Unfortunately, the whole thing sort of slopes a little bit. So if I set it to this height, and then come down here and go, actually it's not. Yeah, it's still higher than the road. So at some point, we're gonna have to sort of work out a way to pick the height of the road all the way across and just sort of keep adjusting, I guess, as we go. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's bring, and I'm not sure either how much room I need. I guess I should give myself as much as I can, and then sort of we can always dial it back if need be. So all I'm doing is just sort of every now and then selecting the height of the road and setting it to be that, so that it's constantly changing with the road height and with the sort of the slope of the hill as we go through. This section is a little bit much, and all I'm doing is sort of keeping an eye on the gradient slopes there, on those little lines, to make sure that it's not too steep anywhere. Like here is a little bit ridiculous, so let's just go ahead and just smooth that all out. Come on. Softened terrain is what I was going for there. I accidentally didn't click on the right thing. That's okay, we'll go with that. Bring the strength down just a little bit. Oh, come on. Soften. There we go. Then we'll go here and we'll just bring that up. That's looking a little bit better. This section needs to be brought out a bunch. It's a little bit too narrow through there, so let's just go ahead and do that. And then again, this whole section is far too thin, so we'll just bring it out like so. Now to go through and just sort of smooth everything out, get it all nicely level. Do something like that. We'll grab our smoothing tool, and we'll just do it a little bit like that. And that there gives me a nice little section to play with, I think. I think that works well. So here is the idea. This is quite a main road, so I don't want, here's what I don't want. I don't want my path right up against it. All right, I want a little bit of a gap, and that gap is going to be filled with bushes or trees or something. I'm not entirely sure. I want it to be, I think, 2 spaces wide along the whole way. So I'm going to come out by 2, and then we're going to get the curve on, and we're just going to, I mean, luckily we have these very helpful, grid lines here to help us. But it means we can stay basically exactly 2 squares away the entire way along. And that 2 squares is going to give us enough room to decorate and basically just make that little gap nice. And then I might actually need to give myself more room. I was thinking that these 2 would be wouldn't be quite so large, but I might need some more room on the outside along here so that we can let's try and get my curve nice. Let's go snap 180. There we go. About there. Turn snapping off again. So yeah, as you can see, in places like, come on, let's fix that up. Let's bring this out just a little bit. Drop the size down. You, terrain height, you, out. Give me more room. Strength, all the way up. Thank you. Give me more room. Thank you. There we go. Something like that. Gives me a bit more room because, as you can see, this is getting quite close. And if I wanna put something on this side, which I do, preferably what I'm thinking is putting a fence maybe along there, something to obviously, or maybe a wall, a nice brick wall or something like that, just to stop people falling off. So we'll go here and we'll just bring this in like so. Good. So now we have a 2 deep gap the whole way along, and it's pretty even. I'm pretty happy with that. So that's good. That's what I was hoping for. Let's just move you slightly. You're always in the wrong place for some reason. Let's try now and find a nice fence we could use. We could use the brick wall 4x4. We could use that. Give ourselves a little bit of space here. Just go ahead and hit pause. What do I want to do? Thinking. We could obviously go with some trees along the edge first, or do we go with wall like that and then trees? That could work. That could certainly work, and it sort of mirrors that side. Yeah, I like that. Let's go with that. And then I think the amount of space we have is fine. So, to our prop section here, curving tool. Where is this gonna start? It's gonna start sort of there. This is gonna be the problem with curving this, because the wall itself doesn't actually curve. It's gonna have to be it's gonna have to go something like that, and I'll bring it in on an angle so it can squeeze in a little bit closer. Now, if we get our curve, what does this do? Toggle fence mode. I'm not quite sure what fence mode is. What happens if I turn it off? That, or that seems to work a little bit nicer. I'm not sure exactly what it's doing, but it definitely seems to work a little bit nicer. Automatically has picked the spacing I want, which is nice. So let's go ahead and okay, so you start basically from where I click, which is very nice. So if I do that, why is there a gap? That's obviously It thought it had picked the right spacing for me, but it hadn't. Frustrating. In here, let's go in here. We'll say parameters. Spacing is currently 16 meters. So if we go 0.9, oops, no, length, and then we just go minus a couple, that now lines up perfectly. So let's get to this side so we can sort of see what we're doing. Go there, and then something like that, and then there. And how is this looking? Not looking bad. Obviously, this little section here is a little gammy, a little bit awkward. So let's do something about that. Actually, let's go with single placement for now. And we'll bring you sort of this way, and then we'll go there. Get rid of you. We'll go. Yeah. See now. It's just a little long. Maybe there is there a shorter version of it somewhere? There might be a shorter version of it somewhere. I'll have to go hunting. For now, I'll leave that end as it is. And let's go back to drawing in the rest of this line. We'll just go. This is roughly straight for most of that. So we can go like that. It's this big curve here that's going to get a little bit tricky. Hopefully this can handle it though. And it looks like it can, which is really, really nice. Look at that. Oh. Can you imagine trying to place all of these by hand? I can't. That would be a real pain. So this fence mode that I've just found, very, very useful. I mean, there are a couple small gaps, but that's... Okay, so there's a... There are a couple problems with it. Oh, fence mode turns it into one unit. Is that right? Is that what it's saying? Oh no, I was highlighting that. I thought fence mode had turned it into sort of one object. So it was all being deleted at once. But no, that has not happened. I do wish that it would meet the ground. Is there a way to... No, that's not what I want. That's the angle, which is... So if I do that... Yeah, that's that angle, not the other angle, which is a little frustrating. That's okay, we're just gonna have to live with it for now. Let's go and redo that curve. This is what happens when you mess with things. I should have just left it as it was. It was fine. It wasn't perfect, but it was okay. It was acceptable. Curving tool from here to here. Fine. See, from above, it looks fine. And once we get some trees in as well, it's going to look alright. It's going to look fine. We'll just go here, and then we'll go... we've got to get a little bit of a backwards curve on us. So we'll go sort of there, and there. Alright, so we're almost done. He says just over halfway. That's alright. And then once this is done, it's just a matter of some trees, which will be a lot easier. And I think for the trees, I'll use the freeform curve tool. I think that'll work a little bit nice. In fact, what would that be like for here? I go like this. That actually kind of works a little bit nicer. Let's get on a little bit closer view here for this curve, because it's a little bit of a pain. There you go. Yeah, look at that. Oh, that's very nice. Whoever made this mod, I can't remember, which is a little annoying because I'd love to leave a link down in the description. And in fact, if I remember, I will go searching for them because this is a seriously powerful little tool that we've got here. So if I remember, I will go find out who made this mod and I will leave a link to it in the description below. Alright, so you can all go and find it. And there is our little fence. Lovely. Let's go ahead and get some trees in there. Let's get the spacing. What's that going to look like? That looks alright. I'm happy with that. Let's get rid of that tree. And let's go sort of there, I think. And then we'll just curve it around there. There we go. There we go. And all I'm trying to do is just make sure that they're not actually going onto the fence or over the fence. As long as we're not doing that, we should be fine. And again, because these don't have to line up perfectly, it's going to be a little bit of a faster process than doing the fence was. So there we go. We'll go along here. Let's just change that angle a little bit. I want an outward curve instead of an inward curve. Go there. We'll go all the way around. Nah, it's not gonna work there. Let's try and find the curve that is gonna work. That looks like it. That looked really quite nice. We'll just come in a little bit closer and we'll go there. And I just want to start a new line. There we go. I do like the fact that if it's overlapping, you get that little symbol thingy showing. So that's really useful. So there we go. There is our line of trees and our fences heading all the way down. Looking lovely. Now all we have to do is decide what we want on the inside here. Tough decision, I think. We could obviously pave the whole lot. We could go in here, we could find our concrete patch tool, which is it a 4x4? No, we want a 2x2. Could go ahead and patch the whole lot, which, I mean, it could work. Or we could put at every single intersection. In fact, I think I'm gonna start with this as my camera just goes nuts. Excuse me, let me just take a drink, hang on. So much nicer. Alright, let's, I'm not quite sure what happened with the camera there, just jumped around. Let's go ahead and put some paths, straight please, from here to here, and here to there. Obviously these will be, patched up in just a second, don't you worry. Go there, and we'll go there. In fact, I preferred it with snapping off. And this just gives sort of nice access points across the whole distance for people to walk down. And you'll notice I still have street lights as none, which I think, I don't know, I just think it looks a little bit nicer. Obviously, it means I can go ahead and put in my own manual street lights if I do so please. Which at the moment, I don't want them. I want them plain and with nothing on them and empty. That might change though. So there we go. So we've now got connections at every single intersection, which is good. So we can now go ahead and just patch these up. These should fit nicely with a 2x2. They do. Wonderful. Go back along. Find the other one. 2x2. We'll just use the 2x2 to tidy it up. It's fine. Now, you are actually a little narrower than a 2x2. But luckily, the 2x2 will flesh you out, which is good. Let's just go ahead and do that. So some of these are actually a little bit wider than the others, and some are a little bit narrower, But that's okay. I think that's fine. I was trying to work out why everything was, why they were all stopped in the middle of the intersection. And then I realized it's because the game is currently on pause, and therefore no one's actually moving anywhere. So that's fine. So let's hit play, and people start to wander around. Lovely. Now, what I do want to do, I think, is place in... I kind of want to put some park benches along here, right? So facing backwards, and so it will go. Let's try and work this out. Let's map this out. What do I want to do? I want to go. We've already got trees here, so that's fine. Well, do I want? Oh, do I want to upgrade this road to simply have no trees so I can do my own? I think I do. You're 6-lane like that, aren't you? So let's just go. It's gonna get rid of some stuff. That's okay. It's getting rid of my pathways. I'll have to go and put them back in. That's not a problem. I'm not too hurt. Don't worry. I won't do it on camera. You won't have to see me do it, because I understand it's more painful for you than it is me to have to see that. So there we go. So we've got that cleared up. So what we can do is we can say in a 3x3 space. Let's stick to 3x3, or at least just over, maybe. Let's go with a tree, which is not in the tree menu, it's in this menu. We'll go with elders. So let's go single. How big is... Where's the zoning? Here's a 3x3. I'm now placing my fingers on the screen so I can see where I'm working between. So we'll go there and there. So that should have lined up. It's close enough. It's pretty accurate. Let's actually no. I'm not happy enough with pretty accurate. Let's place one there and get rid of that one. That is now 3x3. So we can have that. Then we can put a small, I think a small little bush. You're the large bush, aren't you? Where is the small bush? Bush 1, bush 2. There we go. Do something like that, and we can grab all the way back along park bench, and we can place this facing this way. And then in here, I believe I also have hanging wall ivy. No, that's not at all what I want. I was thinking I could put some sort of separator in. I could do it with a... Basically, what I'm thinking of doing, so I actually explain myself to you, is I want to put in... I want to make this into a custom park. So it becomes a... How big is this? A 3x2, right? Custom park that I can just plop along this whole way. So I can just plop a bunch of them down, which will raise, obviously, the land value, but also make it way easier for me to place everything. So all I'm doing at the moment is sketching out my idea of what it's going to look like. And then we'll go and actually make it. So, look, there are single ones. Hey, look at that. So I can just go ahead and go, doot, like that. Lovely. Okay, so I can do that for sure. But I'm wondering, do I want to do it with like a hedge around this, or do I want to do some pot plants? I could do some little pot plants. That could definitely work. Scrolling through all of this stuff just to try and see what exactly I've got. See, here are the stalls. These are the other things I want to do. I want to put some of these around the place. We'll put a fruit stall here, and then we'll put another fruit stall here, and then maybe a little thing next to it. I don't know, maybe. We'll see. That's all fountains. Let's scroll back the other way. I'm looking for... Well, that's a nice little hedge. That's not a bad hedge, is it? It's a bit square, I think. It's not bad. I am looking for some pot plants, I think, to go in here. What is all this stuff? This is all containers and parking signs. That's fine. Don't want them. Not at all. Where are my plants? Here we go. So that's obviously the original flower garden. That's the nice rectangular one, which I don't want. That's not going to work at all. I could do a flower pot on a stand. I could do one of these. I could do one of these on either side. Like that. Or what's this one? This is a random high-level flower pot. Ah. Now that's going to be a bit nicer, because then it will differentiate each of them. So we can do something like that. And I still want something to go up the edge. And I think I am going to use I could use the hawthorn bush instead of the standard hedge. If I do that, how does that look? There we go. That's our little area. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place them along the back as well. And just close up the gap. There we go. And that is what our little 3x2 area is going to be. However, I'm going to go and make that in the asset editor off camera. And then in the next episode, we will place them all down and we'll get this little avenue area finished. The other thing I'm going to do off camera is replace all of these pathways. So guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit that like button, and also don't forget to hit subscribe if you can't wait to see how a bunch of these look placed along here. And I'll see you in the next one.